Everybody sees the peace. We're looking for the funky peace. Come on down to the Mothership Connection store. We're doing what we do. We love to funk for you. Nappy head. Nappy head. So take a chill, y'all, and listen to the band get ill.
What's up? What's up? What's up? Welcome to another episode of Funk from the Front Seat. That was just a quick shouty outie to my Nappyhead Funk Army OGs. We've been honored and we're being inducted into the Funk Hall of Fame, and I got to give them a shout out every opportunity I get. And that's going to be sometime in March, Dayton, Ohio. The Funk Chronicles, up there and with David Webb and his people. So, it's going to be really, really cool. And I always want to shout them out. But, like we always do, we're going to go around the United States. But before I do, I want to let you know, Funk from the Front Seat, every Saturday, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We got some great shows lined up this season, and we're going to be kicking it really, really hard for you, bringing you the real, bringing you the truth, bringing you, of course, the peace, love, and harmony that we need to spread around this world and this planet. Today, we have the honor and the privilege. Our very special guest is Mr. Michael Salter III, and he's a vocalist, a performer with the Temptations Review featuring Paul Williams Jr. Now, say that twice. That's a tongue twister. But I just want to let you know he's coming in a little bit. We're going to be coming in hot. But before I do, I just want to spread a little love and do what we normally do, the new Do Review just for you. So I want y'all to sit back and check this out. If you're in New York, know that we love you. That's right. Long Island, my hometown, Bayshore, I got y'all all day. Yo, Daryl Holloman, man, hit me up. I ain't heard from you in a while. New Jersey, you heard? What's up? What's the word, Jersey? Delaware, are you aware? Way upstate in up in the Hamptons and upstate in New Hampshire, we got y'all. And we're gonna swing all the way back down to Funky Philly Dilly, where my guy David Brooks, Kevin Harrington, and my mentor Howard Beeman is at. Yeah, we're going to swing back through and go to the DMV up there in D.C. We got you. Detroit, Minneapolis, we got you. Brenda in the Ohio, Ohio. Patty and Bootsy, I love you guys. Thank you. Remember, funk, not fight. Put the guns down. Let's unite. We're going to swing back through North and South Carolina, through Kentucky, through Georgia. I got you, Q. Hit me up, man. And don't forget, y'all check this out. We're going to be bringing you some new stuff, some new merch. I'm rocking my Nappy Head merch right now, but we're going to be rocking some new merch for you. Some Funk from the Front Seat merch. We're in the process of getting them made right now. We're going to be sending out T-shirts to some of our favorite viewers. So y'all stay tuned for that. Also, New Orleans, NOLA, how you doing? Kentucky, Oklahoma, how you doing? We got you here in South Carolina and North Kakalaki. What's up, Tim Kinley? Club Funkity Ambassador, I got you, man. Funkster Jones, thank you for talking to me yesterday, man. I really, really needed that, bro. And we're going to swing through the Midwest. Chicago, we got you. What's happening in Indiana? We got you. North and South Dakota, we got you. Don't worry about it, Cali. West Coast, we got you, man. Nevada, we got you. New Mexico, we got you. Puerto Rico, we got you. Hawaii, Samoans, doing the Humpty Hump. We got you. Tokyo, Annyeonghaseyo. We got you over in Tokyo. I know I got a few peeps over there that's watching. China, Japan, Dubai, the whole continent of Africa. We got you. North and South Pole, we got you. We got you all the way in the Netherlands. DJ, Elizabetta, I got you in Ireland, sweetie. Thank you for always watching the show and always supporting the show. DJ Cocolito in Italy, thank you for playing the music. And I can't forget DJ Monica in Switzerland. Oh, on the Club Funketeer show, DJ, we got you for that as well. I appreciate all you guys out there, everybody that's around the world tuning in, watch. You guys can go back and watch the show at 6 and then again at 12 for all our people over in India. So check this out. Who did I forget? Oh, I can't forget my brothers and sisters in New Mexico and Puerto Rico and El Salvadorian and Dominican and La Cubanita. We got all of y'all. Peru, my peeps over there in Peru. I got you. My manager down here, Diego, he's from Peru. So, yo, we got all of that popping. So we need everybody out there to just remember this show's about peace, love, and harmony, nothing else. Stay active on the chat line. I love all you guys out there, and I want you to know I want your love. Sit back and relax for a minute. Let's vibe. Yes. Funk from the Front Seat. 9 on the Grind TV every Saturday. My producer, Mr. Markley, and I are very, very proud to say in May is going to be Cinco Años. For yours truly and Mr. Barkley. Cinco años, bro. Can you believe it? 5, 5, bro. 5. Yo, we got to have a cake and a party, bro. You feel me? We doing this. I don't care what people say. You know, like Bootsy said, funk is making something out of nothing. Thank you, big brother Bootsy. And I love you, big sister Patty. Y'all are dope. Cheryl Woodhouse is going to be coming on eventually when I can catch up with her to do some guest spots on this show and free me up a little bit so I can do some other things. But, man, we got the Temptations today. We got that vibe today, that Motown vibe. If you got a birthday, celebrate it with all the gusto you can, because tomorrow is never promised to anybody. If you got an anniversary out there and you love somebody, yo, tell them that you love them. It's okay to spread love. We got to stay out of the darkness. You know what I'm saying? We got to get away from that nonsense. This is the year, 1,125 year cycle. Man, just remember, there's going to be a lot of people out there that appear to be mentally ill, and they're really not. They're just lost in the darkness, bro. So if somebody in your family transitioned on to a higher vibration, just be grateful that you spent the minutes, the time, the hours, the days, the years with them. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what this is about. This meat suit, this earth suit right here, this is only a rental, bro. You know, this is only a rental. Once you're done renting it, you get out of it and you do something else in the universe that you've been planned and ordained to do. So if you got a skill out there, man, there's no better time. Me and my guy Kevin Harrington always talk about it. Ain't no more excuses. You know, do what you got to do. Make it happen. You know, don't be afraid to take chances with your life. Don't be afraid to sit back and say, oh, I can't do this, I can't do that. Don't be afraid. Fear is their biggest weapon. They use fear against us. We cannot let fear win. I will not let fear steal my joy. I will not let anybody steal my joy. No one on this planet is ever going to steal my joy again. That was my New Year's resolution, and I'm sticking to it. So if I got to cut a lot of people off, so be it. Now, Monday, Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and we got a little thing set up at the end of the show as well for him. But we want your thoughts, your comments. I know you guys are busy out there, but if you get a chance, pop on, man. Check us out, see what we're doing, man. Because, you know, MLK Day, a brother named Stevland Morris fought for that. And for those of you that don't know who Stevland Morris is, that's Stevie Wonder, okay? He fought, he marched. And if this brother could get stuff done, he should be running for president. I wish he would, you know, because I think he would be a much better choice than what we got right now. And if we can somehow make his dream come true, Martin Luther King, I have a dream come true, we can make the world a better place. I carry my father's NAACP card in my wallet with me everywhere I go. I'm so proud to show that off because he was part of the movement. He was a Baptist minister. He marched. He walked. You know, I remember going down south right around the time Martin Luther King was shot a couple of months later, whatever. We had to go to my uncle's funeral. And it was such a saddening event, but profoundly changed the way the world was. And everybody that ever did any good out there, you notice they get rid of them because they don't want us coming together. All they want is like the hate. All they want is the fear mongering. All they want to do is poison us with the toxins and the chemicals in the food and the soap we use and the products we use and the water we drink. So we got to be up on it. We got to be tribal. We got to help each other. We got to make sure that no matter what we do, no matter how we do it, and no matter how stressful or unproductive it may seem, it's always productive if you can spread peace, love, and harmony. And that's my, not my rant, but that's my soapbox thing for today, because the Temptations, their music, what they did in that time, in that era of the riots going on, and I know I was 9, 10, and 11 years old. I have a vivid, fond memory of everything that ever happened. And when we look back and we think about, you know, what they were actually doing, the artists, you know, and I give kudos to the Funk Brothers. And for those of you that don't know the Funk Brothers, you should definitely go back and watch this video, Standing in the Shadow of Motown, because it basically tells the story of all the people that played the music. More number one hits than the Beatles, Michael Jackson, Elvis Presley, Liberace. All those people put together did not have the number one hits that the Funk Brothers wrote. My Girl, Martha Reeves and the Vandellas, Cloud 9, Psychedelic Shack. You can go all those songs that they did. You know what I'm saying? Cool Jerk. You know, all the Marvin Gaye stuff, all the early Stevie Wonder stuff. That stuff was so significant and healing while the riots were going on. In the background, you could literally hear music playing from Motown while half the town was burning. DJs used to play that music. I remember specifically because people would be riding in cars, gangs would be trying to do what they did, people was looting, people were rioting, but you could hear the soundtrack of that music. Also other music, Jimi Hendrix and things like that. There was a soundtrack to the 1960s, and Motown was the soundtrack. I don't care what nobody says. James Jamerson, those people, whatever. The blues, yes, it was popping, and it had its place. Of course, the early Louis Armstrong and all that stuff all had its place. But I'm telling you right now, Motown and what they were doing up in the D, that was the soundtrack. Because every adult I know had a 45 record player. And for those of you that don't know about that, we actually played records back then. And most of the tracks would be Motown. You know, and it was such a profound thing for me growing up as a kid to go to my sister's house and watch my nieces and nephews dance and do the slop and do the jerk, and do the sweet, to all of these great songs that Motown was putting down. So today we got somebody that's carrying on that tradition. He's coming on a little bit. Mr. Michael Salter III is going to be here. I got my producer back there, Mr. Mark Lee. You want to jump on for a minute and add your reflections, bruh? What up?
Hey, doing good. How's it going there? I was saying in 5 years, we're going to have cake and wine because we might have to have some cake and some wine and everything. But definitely the fact that we celebrated 5 years and doing great things. But like you said, that Motown sound was definitely very much a part of the 60s and the 70s, and definitely part of that civil rights stuff. And definitely my parents were involved in that. And definitely I remember hearing, like you said, the music of Motown, a lot of that reflective sound. And of course, the message was very important and all along those lines. The scary thing is that we are in the year 2024, almost more than a half a century from when Dr. King passed, and a lot of that, what he was talking about, we're still dealing with today and everything, whether it's around housing or around, equality, and definitely giving people rights and everything. And even Dr. King himself was not that big of a fan of the war efforts, and we're seeing a lot of wars going on as well. So there's a lot of things that he was talking about that are still relevant today. And matter of fact, I know you've got the speech that we might play later on, and you hear what he was talking about. A lot of those issues are the same issues that Obama was talking about, that Biden has brought up, or even the things that were going on with mental health and a number of other things that he was bringing to the forefront. Even the way that our prison systems are unfairly geared toward the minority community and all along those lines. But a lot of those were things that he was talking about. I remember going to a journalism camp. I think I told you that when I was a high school student. So this would have been when I was around 17 or 18. And we had to look at his book, Chaos or Community, and reflect on it. And that's what I did, is I reflected on how at the time I was writing that, which would have been like 1979, a lot of the things that he was talking about were still relevant then, to the time that I was writing. So we're talking about from 1969 to 1979 or something like that. But now they're still relevant in 2024. And that is a scary thought, that they are still relevant some 50 years after his death, or 50 plus years after his death, and all along those lines. So definitely that's something that I think about a lot with those young nephews of mine, and everything is how we have come a long way, but we still have a long way to go of what the dream was, and all along those lines. So that's just some of my own personal reflections about how we've still got a long way to go, even in our education system. We know that some of our African American males are not the ones that are being encouraged enough in the school system, and all along those lines. And there are some places, including in some big cities and some small cities and some small towns, where the dropout rate is very high among our African American males, and all in that space. And these are all things that I'm sure Dr. King would be fighting against, just like he was doing back in the 60s.
Yeah, you're right. You're right about that. What's up, Kurt? How you doing, bro? Love you, bro. Gotta get you back in, man. Curtis Wilcox hanging out with us. He, I see some reactions coming in. Appreciate that, bro. Thank you. And Curtis Wilcox, for those of you that don't know, amazing funk artist, and I mean artist. Well, just give me 1 second. And a lot of the artwork you see to my right shoulder over here, Mr. Wilcox did, and also a lot of the things that you see, the very logo, Funk from the Front Seat, was done by my guy, Mr. Curtis Wilcox. And bro, I can never thank you enough for jump-starting and helping me jumpstart, along with others, my career, and helping me reboot that. You and I have talked many, many times, and I'm telling you, I have the lady on from iHeartRadio, Kurt. I'm talking directly to you, bro. I got the lady from iHeart, my good friend, and her dad, and we gonna come on the 20th, and I'm gonna send you the link. You pop on if you want, chat, whatever, and we're gonna dive deep into what you and I call hybrids, home, UFO. We got that show popping on the 20th of January. That's just a preview of the preview. Jen, how are you? I love you so, so much. Thank you for always being there, man. And we send in prayers and hugs and love to you and your beautiful family. And, always you got that guardian angel on your shoulder now, and I know you and I talk privately about things, and I'll make sure that I continue to send you my love and all that good stuff to you and your beautiful family, man, because we do love you. And eventually, when you're ready to come back in, you can slide in and we can chop it up too, Yeah. So it's really, really cool. You know what the good thing about doing and having freedom, Mark, is that we can basically do what we want.
Mhm.
And I think that's why YouTube hasn't kicked us off. Because we ain't really disrupting the apple cart, so to speak.
Yeah.
But we are basically talking about some serious stuff. And for those of you that's watching, Dr. Brooks, what's up, B? I love you, bro. For those of you that's watching, man, all of our opinions are always myself and my guest and my producer, Mr. Mark Lee. They are not the opinions of Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and whatever else we're on. StreamYard, we love you, but they're not. It's just us. So, feel free to always drop something in the chat, man, because anything that you guys want to chop up and talk about, we definitely going to get into. There's a lot going on, and we need to always make sure that we stay abreast of it. Of course, we know what's coming in November, right? So it's going to be a rough year. We all got to strap up, hang in there, right? Mark shaking his head. He's like, I don't want it.
It's like we got a choice between Tweedledee and Tweedledum in terms of what we got, but definitely it's some interesting choices because we got the man that is 80 years old, and definitely you can be 80 and still very much cognizant and aware. My dad is 83 and still very much aware and everything. And I think Biden's doing a good job and everything, but a lot of people will not see it that way. And then we got that person with the orange hair that is the other choice that was the past president and all along those lines. And I had to tease you because you called it Twitter. It's not Twitter anymore. Now they call it X. So it's X, and they changed their name. I don't know what Elon Musk was thinking about, but he got a big X on it now. So it's X instead of Twitter. And I got some friends that are like, nah, I'm going to call it Twitter. So as long as I'm around and everything, but they've changed it to X.
Dr. Brooks is already starting his campaign. He cannot get back in. See, here's the thing, and I agree, Dr. Brooks. I think for me, and I'm not going to go political. We're just hanging out chatting until our guest gets here. But I think for me, it's about what I said at the top. Let's just all work together and do what we can do in the community. Send love to each other. Because we already know the dirty politics and high-priced prostitutions. We already know their game. We've been watching their game since the 1700s. Some good, some bad. Some bad, some good. Some horrible, But all we can do is work together, man, and ignore the outside noise and just try to make sure we're okay. Because that's the game. They don't want us to be mentally okay. Physical things happen. I've had surgeries, this and that. But it's about the noggin. It's about the noodle. You got to keep the noodle strong. You keep your brain strong, you can bypass a lot of this dark energy that they want to spit out. Okay. Television programming, words you use as spelling. Don't use words like hate. Don't use words like downtrodden. Don't punch down on yourself. Don't use certain words that carry frequencies because the body is a tuning fork. I've been preaching that since day one. People got to understand this vessel, this meat suit, this earth suit is a giant tuning fork. It has been proven by science that frequencies are not electronic always. They're always vibrating on some kind of musical level. DNAs that strain actually make notes on a piano. And like Dr. Brookins said, to quote Pete Funk, George Clinton legend, think it ain't illegal yet. Think it ain't illegal yet. Mark, I got to ask you a question, right?
Yeah, go ahead.
Did your parents play a lot of Motown?
Yeah, they played Motown. They played a lot of the TSOP, the Sound of Philadelphia. Of course, they were into jazz and there were other stuff as well. But yeah, they were into the definitely the Motown sound. And I definitely remember even some of my friends and neighbors that were growing up on that Motown sound as well. But yeah, they definitely had some Motown music for sure. Even though they were jazz heads, they definitely loved and respected the music of Motown. No doubt about that. They were big fans of that whole sound that Berry Gordy and the rest of that team created. So definitely it was in our house. There was no doubt about that.
What do you think about the fact that a lot of people are now gravitating, because I know my other friend that plays keyboards with Tony Campbell and the Funk All Stars, Chris Schmidt, my funk brother, right? We just did something with him on New Year's Eve, and he does the Stevie Nicks tribute thing. My other keyboard player up in New York, Eric Crow Wilson, shout out, you're a Funk Chronicles Hall of Famer, bro. He does the Diana Ross tribute thing with Diana Ross's daughter. The Temptations have a tribute thing. What we do with Tony Campbell and the Funk All Stars is kind of like a P-Funk tribute thing. What do you think about all of these tributes to all of these great artists becoming now more popular than ever?
Oh, they're becoming more popular than now. I mean, there's even one of the things I was looking up. I was actually going to ask her, I guess, if he knew about it or not. But there's even tribute plays, because there's actually going to be a tribute play to the Temptations that's going to be coming here to Durham. I want to say in February and everything, but it's a play that's coming to the DPAC. So a lot of these tributes are not just done in the form of music bands, but they're also done in theater productions as well. So definitely I've seen some of those even when I was at the going regularly to the National Black Theater Festival, and there would definitely be tributes to like Jackie Wilson. And like I said, I just found out about this one because I was looking up what you had me looking up about this tribute band, and I saw that there was a tribute theater production. So we'll also see sometimes that they are tribute theater productions about the groups as well and everything, because Ain't Too Proud is the name of the production that'll be
Yeah, that's right. I saw something like that. Absolutely right. I think, you know, when we get a chance to reminisce, go back in time a little bit and talk a little bit about, you know, stuff that's nostalgic to people my age, it also turns a lot of young people on, you know. That's right, Dr. Brooks. Ain't Too Proud to Beg stage play is in Philly. Okay. Honoring the Temptations. That's right. See, and like I said, we're going to talk more about this to Michael. But yeah, man, that music was a serious soundtrack, man. When we look at the amount of energy that it must have taken those brothers and sisters at that Motown place to record all that stuff, go on the road, do promos. I remember the first time I saw the Temptations, I must have been like 7, and they was on the Ed Sullivan Show.
Mm-hmm.
And I was so proud because, of course, Nat King Cole had his show, but I was kind of too young to remember. I remember seeing pictures of Harry Belafonte, and I went to plays with Sidney Poitier. But I was so proud to see, and I can't forget Mahalia Jackson because my mother made sure I saw her. But I was so proud to see those 5 black men dressed to the T, shoes shine, synced in step, singing some shit that I had never heard before. That was profound because I had never seen that as a black kid. You know, I only seen it in the churches. And to me, I was like, wow, they're on TV. I can do that. You know?
And they had some steps for you and everything. I had the pleasure of seeing, and I know it's a different band, but when I was working one of our local festivals, I saw Russell and one of the stylistics bands, because we do know that there are several variations of these different bands and everything. I think it was Russell Thompson, if I'm remembering correctly. But definitely it was interesting seeing these folks carrying on that tradition and being able to carry on that tradition, like you said, because a lot of these bands were just tremendous, and they had some choreography that was out of this sight. And I mean, I remember watching and being a big fan of Soul Train, and when you would see them coming on Soul Train and they had those moves and that smoothness and everything, it kind of like was something that you were hoping that you could develop as well. And most of us didn't get to have that kind of smoothness that the Dennis Edwards and the folks of that ilk were able to create. But, you know, you could dream and hope that you would have that kind of smoothness in your own life and everything, because they were definitely, you know, they were some true ladies' men, if I can use that term and everything. So definitely folks were admiring what they were saying, but they weren't just about the you know, getting around the relationship songs, even though a lot of their songs were relationship songs. But as you just said, a lot of those songs were also movement songs. So they were songs that the movement used as well. So a lot of them were definitely in that movement space as well, where they would be sitting there and would be encouraging the movement, whether that was Dr. King, whether that was Malcolm X, whether that was a number of other folks. So that music was the soundtrack of a lot of changes that were going on in the 60s and the 70s. So definitely, I think it impacted a lot of folks in the way that they treated the African American community as well. I don't know if you've picked up on that, but I think that a lot of people were like, these folks are some classy gentlemen and all along these lines. So we can't be putting people in this stereotype of they're all gangsters or they're all this or that, when they are creating a image that is definitely not that imagery that was being projected, and is still somewhat projected by the media among some of our peers and all along.
I agree wholeheartedly. And also, too, it gave other cultures a chance to see, like you said, okay, we need to, and there were always a lot of liberal white brothers and sisters, Native American, Latino brothers and sisters that were part of the movement. I can't omit their contribution to change, because there were a lot of people that walked arm in arm with Dr. King. There were a lot of people that walked, understood what Kennedy was trying to do. A lot of people understood what Malcolm was trying to do, but they just couldn't grab it. But now we see what he was trying to say. Now we in it. So I would never omit any other cultures, being a part of that movement, because Martin Luther King wasn't about black and white. It was about the rights, civil rights for all people. Hey, Dr. B, you saw the stage play in New York in 2020? No, and I'm sure that was dope. What theater did you see it at? I'm sure it was great. But, that movement, and with the Motown sound and with everything that they were doing, made, and my background too also had the Beatles, and I can't leave them out, because the Motown and the Beatles, when the Beatles came out with Come Together and stuff like that, and Get Back to Where You Once Belong, and the Long and Winding Road, and Mother Mary comes to me speaking words of wisdom. I was like, damn, everybody, that whole 60s vibe, the Bob Dylan vibe, the slide, all of that stuff was mixed in. And at the forefront, Temptations was pushing it. The Four Tops was pushing it. Martha Reeves and the Vandellas, all of those great, great groups. Dr. B said he saw it somewhere in Times Square. I'm sure it was dope, man. And when we look back at how that changed our attitudes, I couldn't dance like the Temptations, but I damn sure could play the music. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, you know what? I may not be up front dancing, but I'm.
Wait a minute, you didn't have those Temptation moves? I thought you had those Temptation moves.
I got a couple. You know what I'm saying? But they were in sync, spinning around and making sure that they always got back to the mic on time, stuff like that. And there was some things that wasn't quite normal in their journey, but that was part of their journey. A lot of things happened behind the scenes, Motown, this and that. But see, I don't try to take negativity from anything. That's part of the positivity. My friend Janice and I were just talking about that. We need the yin and the yang. We need the sun and the moon. We need the rain to appreciate the sunlight. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of the things that were happening, I was too young to know anyway, So now that I'm older, I understand what they were singing about. When they came out with people moving out, people moving in, why? Because of the color of the skin. Run, 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 but you sure can't hide. When they came out with that Ball of Confusion, I was like, yo, they on some stuff now. Whoever wrote that, and we'll find out. They was on some stuff. And then they came out with Psychedelic Shack. And as they changed, so did their clothing. They went from the nice, neat suits and the slick hair. Then a couple of years later, they came out with the afros and the dashikis. And that's why I always thought that they were always right on time, ahead of their time. So did your parents play a lot of rock music on the station? I'm just curious.
No, they played some rock music. My parents were very eclectic. I mean, they had some music and still are very eclectic. They had some music that was the John Coltrane and the Miles Davis and the Charles Mingus, but they definitely had some rock sounds that were there in the house. They definitely had, like you said, the R&B sounds and things of that nature. I mean, but then I learned even more about the rock when I went to Marquette, because that's when I discovered groups like Chicago and Who that I might not have heard as much of at home as I heard when I got to Milwaukee in the early 80s, because I had a number of friends that were into all kinds of things, including some that were into slam dancing and some of that more punk rock kind of thing. So I even learned about the Kinks and a couple of other groups that I was not aware of But my parents with that radio station, they had all kinds of groups. I remember hearing a group that was called Tropicana something, but it was a French rap group. It was a French hip hop group, and all along those lines. So definitely there was a number of sounds that were introduced to me by a number of friends, and all along those lines. So definitely I've tried to gravitate toward different sounds and learned a lot of different types of music, including that rock sound and everything. I mean, I think that you've mentioned the group that Vernon Reid was part of, Living Color, and I definitely like that black rock that they were doing, and even some of the stuff that Terrence Trent D'Arby and others were doing later on and everything. So definitely some great sounds in that space.
I think when we talk about and we vibe and funk from the front seat, waiting on our guest today, he's popping in. I know he's going to be here because we just talked a little bit ago, Mr. Michael Salter, and we ain't going to give too much away about what he does, but we're going to talk about his career and stuff like that. The guy who wrote a lot of the psychedelic soul funk cuts for the Temptations, the writer of that song was Norman Whitfield. All right, thank you, Dr. BC. He knows. That's why he be on the thread a lot, man. That song changed my life because it was just so spacey and different for the Temptations, but I was digging it because it had some funk to it. And also, too, people don't know Billy Bass Nelson and Eddie Hazel, wrote Shaky Ground when the Temptations later on started doing stuff, as well as they did some stuff with Rick James standing on the top, as well as they did background vocals for Tina Marie. So the Temps were everywhere. They were one of our group of superheroes. And because they're still their vibe and their love and their spirit is still alive today. That's why we're having this guest on, man. So, we're going to give a big shout out to some people while we're waiting. Of course, P-Funk Radio. I love you guys. Keith Jackson, thank you for all the hard work you do. Godzilla Radio on Wednesday nights. I love you, man. Thank you, Gabe, for everything that you do. Robin Circle of Pete, of course, on that thread. And Tony Cam, I ain't post nothing today, but I'll get to it, Captain. Aye, sir. Of course, Larry Funkster Jones on his Saturday Funk Show and his Sunday Chill Out. And P-Funk Radio is significant because it allows artists like me to have a place to play our music. Now, also, our music is on New Funk Radio, and that's Tony Cam's station. You can check that out or go on my pages and his pages. Of course, I want to thank Bootsy Collins and Peppermint Patty Collins for all the work they do, Funk Not Fight, and all the Club Funketeers around the world. All right. Tony Cam and the Funk All-Stars, the Nappy Head Funk Army OGs, who's going into the Funk Hall of Fame Chronicles and Exhibition Center, and my Nappy Head Funk Army 2.0 down here, help resurrecting the dead-ass funk that North Carolina tries to portray, and we the real shit. So if y'all want to come out, we playing April 26th at the Poorhouse. Come out and get some real shit, and stop messing with this shit that's cut. Like they say, make my funk the P-Funk. I want my funk uncut. Stop fucking dealing with this cut shit and come get some of the real shit because we the real shit. My management company in Diego, Oak City Music Collective, I love you guys. They're doing a big thing down here with an act he just brought over from Peru, so that's dope. Afterglow 92416. Donna, I love you. Much tribute and much thanks to Boogie Munson. I'm always rocking his shirts. Q&A Entertainment, I love you, bro. Brooke Clagett, my funk angel. I'm sorry I missed you at New Year's. Patricia Diori, Aquarius Rising Art and Graphics. Curtis Wilcox and George DeFunca Vinci. A lot of this stuff, all of this stuff you see back here. And also my guy, Ken, Upstate sent me this beautiful collage poster, so I love you for that. Dr. Brookenstein, of course, takes care of my website and been with the Nappy Head Funk Army since 1998. So y'all keep that in mind. Me and his brother been hanging out for that. DJ Cocolino, of course, Elizabetta. David Webb, Funk Chronicles fan. Thank you, brother. I love you so much, man. And I'm going to see you in a few months and do this induction thing, and that's going to be a beautiful thing. It's really the highlight of my funk life and career. Who would have thought this little kid, 1336 North Clinton Avenue in Bayshore, having all of these great artists on the wall, looking at Mike Hampton, looking at Boosie, looking at George Clinton and this one and that one and Sly and Hendrix and all this stuff, and all the ladies, Dawn and Sheila, and of course Chaka Khan, of course, 1976, Chaka, I love you. Who would have thought that I would be hanging in the Funk Hall of Fame with them one day? So believe me, however the universe planned it, I couldn't have asked for it to be more perfect than that. And shout out, I love you, my wardrobe consultant, Spent some time with you yesterday, and that was beautiful. So thank you for all of that. I appreciate it.
Wait a minute. You got a wardrobe consultant? Does this mean that you're going to
You didn't know that?
Does this mean you're going to be dressed as sharp as the Temptations? You're going to have a wardrobe consultant?
No, bro. Who do you think dresses me for my show every week? I consult on this, bro. I'm big time, bro.
I know you're big time. There ain't no doubt you're big time.
Right. You know I'm bullshit, too.
You are a superstar.
Dr. Brooks fly on the wall in the Hall of Funk, baby. If I'm in, you in, baby. We all in. That Hall of Fame. But no, yeah, bro, I do have a wardrobe consultant straight up. I ask, like, what should I wear? What scheme? Today my color scheme is brown, and black. So you can see my sweatpants, you can see my Nappy Head Funk Army shirt, you can see my cheetah scarf, and you can see my brown thing. So yeah, man, I ain't just coming any old way, bro. You know how I gotta roll. I gotta represent. I got too many things to represent out here. The band, for Club Funketeer Vice President, all the people that's watching that I send love to, which, by the way, Nomelia Vasquez Scales, I love you, sweetie. All of this stuff, right? It's like I have to rep the right way. You know what I'm saying? I want to set an example for others. So, they'll be like, okay, you could be funky and still dress nice and be cool, and nothing against no one else's dress. I'm just saying, yeah, I got a wardrobe consultant. Man, you didn't know? I thought you knew that.
I know it now.
Why do you think every week I say shout out to C? I love you, boo, my wardrobe consultant?
I know. I'm just giving you a hug.
That's not an imaginary person. That's a real person, and things of that nature. We hanging out today, Funk from the Front Seat. We got our guest today, Michael Salter III is coming on. We're gonna be chopping it up about what he does and how he does it. He's gonna be here soon, I think. It's 12:43, so I think he's working on it, maybe trying to get on. If not, Mark, if you want to give him a shout out, you can. But you know what we should do? We should run the Martin Luther King video. Can you run that while we're waiting?
We can do that right now.
Yeah, let's do that, man. Here's your toast to the Boogie and Martin Luther King, y'all, and everybody out there, all cultures who help each other and stay in the tribe. Check this out. You good, bro? You want me to grab it?
Yeah, try to grab it, because I tried to grab it and it didn't want to run right. But let's see what's going on here. I don't know why. I see what's happening. I see now exactly what's happening. That was my bag. So we got it right. Hold on. There we go.
I have the pleasure to present to you Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. I am happy to join with you today in what will go down in history as the greatest demonstration for freedom in the history of our nation. Five score years ago, a great American in whose symbolic shadow we stand today signed the Emancipation Proclamation. This momentous decree came as a great beacon light of hope to millions of Negro slaves who had been seared in the flames of withering injustice. It came as a joyous daybreak to end the long night of their captivity. But 100 years later, the Negro still is not free. 100 years later, the life of the Negro is still sadly crippled by the manacles of segregation and the chains of discrimination. 100 years later, The Negro lives on a lonely island of poverty. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, the sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will they be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream that one day, even the state of Mississippi, a state sweltering with the heat of injustice, sweltering with the heat of oppression, will be transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice. I have a dream. My poor little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day, down in Alabama, with its vicious racists, with its governor having his lips dripping with the words of interposition and nullification, one day right there in Alabama, little black boys and black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and white girls as sisters and brothers. I have a dream today. One day every valley shall be exalted, and every hill and mountain shall be made low. The rough places will be made plain, and the crooked places will be made straight, and the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together. This is our hope. This is the faith that I go back to the South with. With this faith, we will be able to hew out of the mountain of despair a stone of hope. With this faith, we will be able to transform the jangling discords of our nation into a beautiful symphony of brotherhood. With this faith, we will be able to work together, to pray together, to struggle together, to go to jail together, to stand up for freedom together, knowing that we will be free one day. This will be the day when all of God's children will be able to sing with new meaning, my country, tears of thee. Sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim's pride. From every mountainside, let freedom ring. And if America is to be a great nation, this must become true. And so let freedom ring. From the prodigious hilltops of New Hampshire, let freedom ring. From the mighty mountains of New York, let freedom ring. From the heightening Alleghenies of Pennsylvania, let freedom ring. From the snow-capped Rockies of Colorado, let freedom ring. From the curvaceous slopes of California. But not only that, let freedom ring from Stone Mountain of Georgia. Let freedom ring from Lookout Mountain of Tennessee. Let freedom ring from every hill and molehill of Mississippi, from every mountainside. Let freedom ring, and when we happen, when we allow freedom ring, when we let it ring from every village and every hamlet, from every state and every city, we will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old Negro spiritual, free at last, free at last, thank God Almighty, we are free at
Yo, man, even today, that's some powerful stuff.
That's it.
Even today, man. Your thoughts, bro?
I mean, it resonates, like you said, even today. I mean, even if you think about what's going on in Israel and you think about what's going on just around the world in Ukraine and Poland, and what he was talking about is very much relevant, even to like he said, this particular day and everything, and some of the things that